That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Welcome back to my channel, boys and girls. Now today is a very different video than what we are used to doing, because today my buddy Jake is on vacation. So as you saw in the previous video, he lent me his Mustang. He said, do you want to take care of my Mustang? And I said, of course I would love to take care of your Mustang. Who wouldn't want to take care of a Mustang? So here we are. Now, of course, I did ask him permission for this video, and he said yes, so I'm fully using his car with his permission. As indicated, I don't know if you could see, I did fill up his car with gas. So, with that being said, today's video is going to be which Mustang is the right for you, S550 versus S197. Most people that do these kind of videos do an S197 GT versus an S550 GT, all right? But because we are so lucky and so honored, all we have is a 2005 Mustang V6 with S550 EcoBoost. So better than nothing. Some people might actually want this video. Now this video will be geared toward three things. It will be based on three categories, all right? Looks, performance, and value. Because that is the three things that you're looking for in a Mustang. The Mustang has always been something that looks good, something that has decent power, and something that is decently fast. I mean, they have decent horsepower. So let's get into it. The first one that I'm going to cover is the looks, all right? Now, the Mustang has always been America's muscle car, okay? It has never stopped production. It has always stuck around, and their styling has always kept up with the times, but stayed true to a true Mustang tradition. Features have always stayed true to the Mustang traditions, such as the tri-bar taillights, the Mustang pony, the running pony, and those things can make it to where over time you still recognize that it is a Mustang, all right? It didn't go through a super crazy transformation from one year to another that make it completely undistinguishable. So that is very nice, and that is why a lot of people own the Mustang, because they get one and it has certain traits of the previous gen Mustang that maybe their uncle or their dad or somebody had in their family, so the tradition just keeps on going and going, and it is a really good tradition. For the S197 specifically, this thing basically, I feel like personally, they said, you know what, let's stick to the 60s Mustang, the original, and let's try to make it a modern version of that, and people love it. You don't know how many people to this day say, oh, my favorite generation is the S197 because that one looks like the classic, and I cannot argue, all right? Just certain stylistic, like the shift knob being the T like the original, font on the speedometer it being the original. It is just so cool how they managed to, in 2005, bring the 1960s Mustang into the real world. That is amazing. I am totally in love with that. The second and the most important thing for any person purchasing a vehicle is value. Now for the V6 specifically, I've seen them go for around 5 to 10K, depending on mileage, depending on condition. Most of them go for about 5 to 10K, which is actually a really good price. Like, for about 5 to 10K, you do get a lot of options. Wait till that charger. For about 5 to 10K, you know, it's not bad. I mean, the hardest thing I feel like with the value, it is a good value, but the other thing is quality. In the mid to late 2000s, Ford wasn't really known for their quality. They had a lot of quality issues, and even in this car, you can see that this thing is not in 100% tip-top shape, and finding one from this generation, it will be kind of hard. I mean, most likely you'll be over 100,000 miles on them, which is fine because this thing is running at 160s. This thing is in the 160s in mileage, and it is running perfectly, all right? The shifts are super smooth. The engine is running perfectly, all right? There's nothing wrong with this. And I've talked to Jake before, and he said that this thing is running like a beast. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Lastly, and there's a very good reason for this being last, is the performance. And I guess you could put mileage in there because it's just overall how the car runs. Now, the reason why I put this last is because this is the weak point of the 05 Mustang V6. It's got a little more than 200 horsepower, and you know, you can step on it, and it does have a linear power band, which is really nice. It's not something that, you know, I don't have in the EcoBoost. But yeah, I mean, when you step on it, it makes really good sound, but it's just not there. But that's pretty much the only redeeming factor for it. It's loud, but it's not that fast. And I don't want to push this because this isn't my car, so I don't want to, you know, go foot to the floor and see what it can do. That's just, I don't have permission directly from him to do that, so I will not do that. I don't know what mods people have done to this V6 wise. I know, you know, if you get a V8, obviously you can go crazy with them. You can do a bunch of crazy things to them. The sound is even better than the V6 and way better than the EcoBoost, unarguably. But I mean, it's good. It's not bad. If you're getting around town, like I said, it's really, really good. You know, if you're just if you're actually thinking about racing, this really isn't it for you. It's really big, it's really heavy, and it doesn't have a lot of power. I would argue that a BRZ would probably be a better value because you can get it in stick shift. I'm pretty sure you can get these in stick shift. I'm not 100% sure, but you get a BRZ in a stick shift. It's a very light car, around the same horsepower, even more. I think it's 225 with the new BRZs that are coming out and the new 86s. But I feel like those performance-wise are a little bit better. But of course they are way more expensive, so there's that drawback. Those are the three things. I hope you guys like this kind of style of video. I think it is very interesting, and let's get back to the garage and get in my car and let's talk about the same. All right, so now we are in the S550. We are in the 2018 Mustang EcoBoost. That is up to 60, something I did not do in the S197. But, and I would like to say I am trying things out with this camera, so this first video will not be perfect. I am trying my best, but we will see how it goes. I hope you guys enjoy the first video. Hopefully the quality will just go up from here. But let's get into it. An overview of the 2018 and newer S550s. So when these started, they pretty much went through a facelift, and as far as I remember, just from listening around, people did not like this facelift when it first came out. When this first came out, everybody was like, oh, I like the 15 through 17 better, and the new design just looks too tame. Now, it did go through a huge horsepower increase with the GTs, going from 420s to 430, somewhere around there, to 460, which was crazy for it as it went through the Gen 3 Coyote, which apparently everybody really likes. Design-wise, this is full sports car, okay? This is now no longer muscle car, no longer pony. It still is kind of a pony car, but it is more sports car, all right? It is going full sports car. This styling is much more aggressive. It is much, I feel like it's a lot wider. It's much more aggressive, a lot more aggressive lines, and just a lot newer. You can see there's a lot more newer stuff to it compared to the old one. The first thing we will talk about is performance, and we will see by this nice pull right here. Let's go. Hold on, give me a second, and we're off. Not bad at all. The first thing about this car is performance. And this car has 310 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque from the factory. Whereas the S197 is a little over 200. This one, you can clearly tell there's a lot more power, a lot more pull with the turbo in this car. But one advantage that the S197 might have is its reliability. As you saw, that one had over 160,000 miles in it, and it was still running perfectly. And with the 10-speed being experimental, saying it just came out in 2018, we don't know how long it's going to last. We are unsure. As with the 4-cylinder turbo, we automatically know that anything that's naturally aspirated will last a lot longer than anything that is turbocharged or supercharged. So the reliability, you exchange it for performance. So whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, we don't know for sure. We'll see. I've seen a bunch of EcoBoosts last over 100,000 miles. Stuff done to them. As for this, 160,000 miles on the S197 V6 and no problems, or very minimal maintenance problems. So there you go. Which one do you want? Do you want reliability or do you want performance? You choose. Let's talk about value. So used EcoBoost go for around 20 to 30K. Depreciation hits them hard. All right, new ones go for about 30 with a good bit of options on them. You can also get the EcoBoost High Performance Pack, which gives you a little bit more horsepower. But yeah, the two cars are not in the same price range, not at all. So, but the difference is, as the two cars are not anywhere in the same price range, you are more likely to find better quality in the EcoBoost than you are in the S197 due to its age. You have a 15 or more year old car versus a car that's only a few years old. Less stuff is bound to go wrong with them. It's a little bit more expensive, but you're gonna find more quality with it, which is a good trade-off for some people. Another good interesting thing about value is the quality of the car. When I get into this car, one of the first things that I notice right off the bat is quality. This thing has a much better quality than the S197, from the steering wheel to the touchscreen to all the drive modes that you can go through. Just the plastics of, not this plastic sucks, but all the other quality in the car is pretty good. So I would say if you're going for something with better quality, the little bit of extra money for the S550 is worth it. We've done performance, we've done value. The third thing is the looks, and I have mentioned it up a little bit. So the last and third thing is the looks, all right? So this is where it really comes down to, you can't really decide. As we've said in the beginning, with styling, this has turned into a sports car. So certain things like the shape of it, this has more curves, it's more sloped. It still has the sportback design, it still has the tri-bar tail lights, but certain stuff like one thing I noticed is when you look at the back of the car with this hides the back wheels. So you can have stupid wide back tires, but you can't see them because pretty much the car covers them up. Whereas on the S197, pretty much the back pokes out. So it kind of has like a forward leaning all the time, where you can see the back poking out and you can see the rear tires like a muscle car. The S197 has more of a boxy look, but kind of like the Challenger, to give it more of a muscle car look. This is more sleek. All right, it's a little bit smaller, I feel like. It's a little bit wider, but overall the body of it compared is a little bit smaller. Muscle cars are a lot bigger in body and shape. So I feel like this is a more sports car. So I feel like in the end, the EcoBoost wins on performance as compared to the S197. The S197 wins on reliability, but gives us some performance. So you pretty much have to choose which one you would like. As for value, you pretty much have to choose how much money you have. If you just have a few thousand, you can find a really good S197 V6 for the money, or if you have a few grand to spend, if you have 20 to 30, you can find an EcoBoost that is really good. Hopefully it is only a few years old and they have not abused it like myself. And lastly is styling. Do you want a classic muscle car that pretty much resembles the classic Mustang of the 60s, or do you want a new modern supercar that has the nice sleek lines and has the styling of modern times? You choose. So that is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am trying out this new type of video. It's very interesting. I'm still experimenting with a lot of stuff, so it won't be perfect, but that is it, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.